What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, February 20th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Sammi Silber. She is the Capitals beat reporter for the Hockey News out there in DC. We are going to talk to her about her why to getting into sports journalism, and we're also going to get to know her outside of her occupation. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Sammi.
Hey,
Good evening, Sammi. How we doing?
good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's wonderful to see you finally.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you for coming on
Yeah,
to my podcast. Work hard, play harder. I just want to ask you how your week been going so far.
it's been going good. Busy. Quite a bit of hockey, but good vibes and good times. So can't complain.
Absolutely. Obviously, you got the number one team in the Eastern Conference over there in the Washington Capitals,
Yeah.
that you're covering, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty good team this year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on here.
Sure.
I've been in journalism for the past 7 years, covering different beats from high school, college, and now professional. Now that I'm freelance, the first 6 years I was in different publications in Atlanta, Georgia, and also here now in Minnesota. Now I've went to freelance and I've covered some great events, including the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago, which was amazing. I know
Nice.
that you. Thank you so much, dear. I know that you are, like we touched upon, the Capitals beat reporter there, and you work for the Hockey News, but you also have had other stops as well, working as a sports reporter as well. So I love talking to different sports reporters and talking about their why and getting to know them outside of their occupation, but also just hearing their stories of how they came into the industry because everybody's story is different. Your story is just as special as anyone else's. And a lot of times, Sammi, we normally go get the story or write the story. So we don't have
Mm.
a lot of time to sit down and chop it up like this. So I'm very happy and very intrigued to hear about your story. And the first question that I normally have for all of
Mhm.
my guests is very simple. What is your why?
Sure.
Why do you do what you do? Were there any role models growing up or any inspirations that you might have had? But ultimately, why did you choose a career in sports journalism?
Yeah. Good question. I think ever since I was young, I've loved to write. And I've been a hard worker. I get that from, my mom. So she's, somebody I really look up to, and she's my hero. And she's the one who actually, helped me get, interested in hockey. And I think in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So I kind of was thinking about, different careers, different things I could do, things I liked and was passionate about.
Sure.
And I knew I loved hockey, and I was good at writing. And I had the work ethic, and I also just realized that I just really like sharing stories with people, and impacting people in a positive way. So I chose to try it, and it turns out I was decent at it, and it was something I ended up really enjoying, and it was really fulfilling getting to share with family and friends, and getting to kind of put words together that, maybe others can, or if they, can't catch a game, being that voice, or, if they want an inside scoop on something, being the one to deliver that. So that's kind of the why. That's kind of why I do it, and I love it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you're very good at it. I mean, if anybody has read your stuff, you definitely are good. And I like to do a little bit of background research on my guests that I have on here on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. I know you went to the University of Maryland. If
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken, you are
I
a
am.
Terrapin alum, but you also have two master degrees as well. One from Regent University and one from Arizona State University, if I'm not mistaken. I want to know first with University of Maryland, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to U of M? Obviously, I've been out there, so I've been to the University of Maryland for like a game or so, and that's in like that area. That's a very very beautiful area. I love that area. But were there any other places that could have persuaded you?
That's a good question. I mean, I think when I was applying to college, I was in the mindset of it was weird because I didn't really know where I wanted to go. Because I was such a homebody, and I really am close with my family. I think family is the most important thing in the world, and but part of
I
me wanted
agree.
to go out, yeah, and kind of explore, you know. So
Mhm.
I had applied to a couple different places. I was looking at Syracuse. I was looking at,
Yep.
you know, maybe going, you know, west, but at the end of the day, I mean, Maryland, I mean, they have a great journalism program, which was really great. But at the same time, it was close to home, and it was somewhere where I felt, you know, that I could really thrive and get a chance to stay local and explore, you know, several different opportunities that aren't even journalism, you know, whether it's working on the programming board at school or, you know, getting involved in different clubs or things like that. You know, and then the local sports scene here is also great, and you know, the Washington Capitals are here, and that's always been home. And Syracuse, I mean, it was intriguing because it's a great school. I mean, you can't say anything bad about it, but it was so
Absolutely.
far, yeah, it was so far away, and you know, it's kind of isolated out there, right? It's, you know, you have New York, but you're way up. Like you're not, you know, the city's not, you know, 2 blocks down the street. So I think,
Right, right.
yeah. So, you know, University of Maryland, you know, had a little bit of everything with the proximity and location, and I chose that, and I'm very happy I did.
I'm happy you did too, because like I said, my brother did a co-op in Baltimore that
Yeah.
was conjunct with his school in New York because he went to RIT. And I'm very familiar with Syracuse because my
Yeah.
dad lives an hour away from Syracuse, and it was actually a school I was considering going to get my master's at. But I actually
Mhm.
went to my alma mater, which was Kennesaw State University. I'm actually graduating with my master's in May
Congrats.
in professional writing. So yeah, so listen, we're gonna be on the same length. It's gonna take me a while to get to like yourself, but definitely at least both of us will have master degrees for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I'm pursuing too. I don't have them yet, so I'm still we're still pursuing. So don't worry about it.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. That's awesome. I want to tell you a quick story before I get into this favorite, and that is about DC.
Mm.
So the only two times I've been to DC, one time was to again visit my brother who lived in Baltimore, did a co-op. Y'all got a lot of 7-Elevens out there in Baltimore, number one.
We did.
And then number two, I was like, we went to there's a place called Shake Shack
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
That was at Union Station. And I went there for July 4th visiting him, and somebody ran out and was like, gunshots. And we heard this pop. It was all kind of pop noises going on. And the Shake Shack employees took off, everybody running and took off. And then my dad was like, what's going on? And then my stepmom took off. My little brother was gone. He just left. He was gone. It turned out to be somebody lit some fireworks in the station.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
that's where it was. But it was so funny because my stepmom had a cheeseburger in her hand and she did not drop it. She didn't drop the
Oh,
cheeseburger while she was running. Yeah, she was if she was gonna go, she wasn't gonna go hungry. That's for sure.
there you
So
go.
she had the cheeseburger in her hand. Now the second thing I wanted to mention was the double decker bus tour.
Hmm.
Wow. That was quite the experience. No question about that. It was extremely hot that day, but it was extremely fun. Just seeing all those different things. Have you been on that?
No, I haven't. I've seen them around though, but I've heard great things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm shocked. Well, you're a
Yeah.
native there. So I guess you get around and see things pretty easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask you some favorite questions. You just answer these off the rip. Give me your 411. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Ooh, don't like to cook. For meal.
Well, Sammy, how do you eat?
Uh, I live on like delivery, which is really bad. I should probably cook more. I do like frozen food. It's my go-to meal. Probably like a God, I don't want to say like a McDouble, but it's true. Yeah, probably like a McDouble. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now hold on. If you're gonna get McDonald's, what is like your A1 meal? McDouble. I'm sure you got fries. What you
Yeah, I guess
drinking? What's that?
I get a McDouble, ketchup only, so just ketchup, cheese, no onions or anything like that.
Wow.
Or try and you know, a a Coke, but I'm trying to do the diet, Coke and
Oh,
all that stuff.
I got you. I got you.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay, that's what's up. No, no, that's cool. I'm a taco person, so I love tacos. I
Oh
definitely do DoorDash quite a bit.
yeah.
Because obviously we're sports reporters, so we get off very late. We don't want to be
Oh
cooking stuff all the time. So I totally get that.
oh yeah.
Um, I want to ask you this: favorite concert you've ever attended?
Ooh, that's an easy one. I saw Florence and the Machine in like a church in New York, and that was awesome.
Hmm.
So that's probably my favorite. It was a really good live acoustic set, really intimate.
Did you
And
just say in a church?
yeah, it was like in like a cultural center, but it was in like a church part of the cultural center. So they were like pews,
Yeah.
and we were staying in pews. It was a really like closed, intimate like conversation and concert. And it was great.
Okay.
It was awesome. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I love it. I love it. I will stay there in New York and say one of my favorite concerts was Alicia Keys.
Ooh, that's
I'm a huge Alicia Keys fan, so that's one of my favorite concerts for sure.
a good one.
Um, favorite place you've ever traveled to?
I don't. God, that's hard. I don't travel too much. Hmm. I guess I'll go with Vegas. I went this past summer to cover the NHL, draft and awards and all that, and I got to go with my family. And when I wasn't working, I got to go out and hang out with them and gamble a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. So
Oh, yeah, well, listen, I mean, you don't have to sweet talk me with Vegas. Vegas is
yeah.
definitely a good time for sure. Every time I went there. Now, quick question: are you going to be at the NHL draft in Los Angeles coming up?
Uh, we'll see. We'll have to see. I went to LA in October and I loved it, so I wouldn't mind going back at all.
Yeah, I just know that that's where they're having the NHL draft as far as stuff like that goes this
Mm.
particular year. Going to be in Los Angeles. There's a career conference that I'm thinking about going to. So yeah, definitely. If we're out there, we definitely got to say what's up to each other for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Um, obviously, I'm a sports reporter. You're a sports reporter. So this next one is about sport. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, and then favorite sport that you like to attend in person.
Hockey and hockey. Yeah, there's no there's nothing. Yeah, hockey.
So bonus question: what did you think about the three fights in 9 seconds between in the four nations?
Oh
The
yeah,
four
it was
nations.
great. It was funny. I had to catch the highlights because I was playing in my own hockey game during that game. So I didn't get to watch that one live, but I went back and watched, and honestly, I thought it was great. I think rivalries like that are great for the game, and when you see them, in action like that, and it gets all riled up and fired up, it's awesome. So I liked it, and I like the fighting and the tough guy roles and that kind of stuff. So definitely a good one.
That's the whole point of me going to hockey games. I mean, listen, I went to I went to college in Atlanta, and we had the Thrashers down
Mm.
there, but the Thrashers moved to Winnipeg. So then now the closest hockey
Yeah,
team is the Nashville Predators,
yeah.
and I went and saw some of those games, and those games were great. Now, what do you say to people that, or I should say, pundits that said that those fights were staged? Like
They're
they
not
were.
staged.
Okay.
They're stiff. Yeah, fights like that. Yeah, it's all. I think it's hard to understand until you're on the ice. I mean, fights like that don't just get planned. It is not a live event. Hockey is such a sporadic, random, happening, heat of the moment sport. Anything can happen. The pucks bounce in all different ways, and off the draw like that in a big game, you might look at the guy next to you and be like, "Hey, you want to go? You want to drop them?" But they're not planned like beforehand. It's very heat in the moment. It's a very emotional game. So baloney.
I would
Anyone?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I thought it was kind of surprising that some of the talk shows were talking about how it was staged. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, I was like, that would be very hard to be staging fights like that in hockey. Now, you just said that you have your own hockey league that you play in.
Yeah, I play adult hockey in Maryland. I'm a goalie for 2 teams, and then I play left wing and captain another one. So I'm on 3 different teams and do that, and sometimes I'll play goal for the team I skate out with. But
Okay,
yeah, quite a
okay.
bit of hockey. So it's yeah.
I, well, listen, you better not ever get tired of hockey. That's for damn
No,
sure. I mean,
no, no. It's yeah. It's such a fun sport. You never get tired of it. It's just
absolutely. I
yeah.
love that. I do. Last of the favorites before I get into the next question. That is favorite restaurant that you like to eat at. Again, I've been to DC a couple times.
Yeah.
Silver Springs is actually one of my favorite places to eat at around there, the Silver Springs area. Woo,
Yeah.
great restaurants. But talk to me about
Yeah.
your favorite.
I'm gonna give a shout out again to my family. Clyde's, my sister works for Clyde's, and my mom and I go there probably, oh gosh, maybe like once a week, maybe, once every week or 2 weeks. We try to eat, there and just spend some family quality time together. So yeah, it's a lot of sentimental meaning for me. I could care less about the food, just spending time with the family and um, but yeah, I mean the food's pretty good too, so that's an easy one.
Well, that is a wonderful answer, Sammy.
Yeah.
I will say that for you. And I'm a huge foodie person. So I'm definitely going to have to check out Clyde's. And next time I am in DC, I will certainly hit you up and I will check out Clyde's.
There you go.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Now,
Yeah.
as a sports reporter, this next question, no 2 days are ever the same,
Yep.
right? Capitals are always covering always playing a new team. It's a lot of games. It's 41 games a season at home. It's 41 games on the road plus
Mm.
playoffs, which
Yep.
is almost certain that your team is definitely going to make the playoffs. No question about that.
So
So,
yeah.
with that being said, um, what is a day in the life of Sammy Silber? Right? What is the day in the life? Because you also talked about playing in 3 different teams for adult league for hockey. And
Yeah.
you're not only covering games, but you're also writing stories and different things of that nature. So tell me, how do you prepare for your day?
Yeah, I mean, I work, another, I work a full-time job too, so it's a lot to balance. So a lot of it is scheduling things out, and when you have an off day, you head to the rink and you go and you watch the practice and you talk to the players and you get as many different angles, storylines as you can. I try to write at least 2 articles a day. Sometimes I'll write up to 8 in a day, which is crazy.
Wow, that is wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on game days, you wake up, go to the morning skate, talk to players there, go home, try again napping, shower, look good because when you gotta look good when you go. Get down there, touch base with my family, get to the rink, watch the game, write during the game, and submit that story at the buzzer, and then you go to the locker room, do your post game interviews, transcribe, and then take the metro home and come hang out with the dog. So and walk her in between all of it. So
Sure.
busy day, and always working. And then when I'm not working, I'm playing, or I coach U14, so I coach kids too, and just
Wow.
yeah, just whatever I can do to just kind of pass the time and share the love of the game. So
I love that. When do you sleep?
yeah, you get sleep. I mean, it comes and goes. I try to get naps in, which sounds
Okay.
babyish, but at the same time it helps. And then I sleep pretty good at night, and I have a comfy bed, and a dog that loves to snuggle, so it's pretty easy to fall asleep at the end of the day.
And I also do I substitute teach and also work in sales as well as doing the
Nice.
freelance sports reporting. So I definitely understand your grind, your hustle, and your love and your passion. But it's a great segue to mental health and work-life
Yep.
balance. You know, Sammy, is being talked about more than ever now, especially within our industry of journalism. People are
Mhm,
starting to kind of go away from our industry. Some people go out of it. Some people go to do different things
yeah,
because they struggle with mental health. And there's also work-life balance, right? Because sports is year round.
mhm,
And even when the off season hits, sometimes it's busier than the actual in season stuff. So tell me, how do you
mhm.
keep your mental health strong, but also have that work life balance? Because you seem like a wonderful woman to be around. You seem like very fun, but at the same time, you do seem very busy with a lot of different things. And you do seem like, obviously incorporating your family into that is very important as well. So
Mhm.
tell me, how do you keep that balance of mental health and work life balance without getting burnt out?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to get burnt out in this industry, especially. I mean, you mentioned the NHL season being long. It really is long. It's you get maybe like even when the season's not going on, you're still writing, you're still working. There's
Yep.
not really a summer vacation or a break you can take. Even like the Four Nations break. Everybody was like, "Oh, you got to chill." I'm like, "No, not really. Like you still have to write." So I think it's important that you balance it with things away from work that you like to do. I like to play video games, and I love to hang out with my dog, and I love my family. So I always just try to fit in time when I can, and when I'm not working, or even if I am working, step aside for a couple minutes and call my mom, or take my dog on a long walk, or get some gaming in after work, when you can. And then obviously being on the ice and playing hockey and staying physically healthy is important too. And but yeah, I mean, it's easy to get burnt out, and I also just think being kind and caring and passionate and happy is good, because when you act that way, and when you I mean, we're so lucky to be in this field, and to be getting to do this
Without
job.
question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, people would kill for the opportunity to do what we do. And there's never a bad day, covering the National Hockey League. There's never, those guys are awesome. They're first class players. They're first class people. So I think it's important to stay grounded, stay humble, and also remember the position that you're in, and just be happy about it and spread that kindness. And when you do that, it's really easy to stay positive and stay upbeat, and keep your head up. And you're gonna have days that you're gonna wake up and you're not gonna be in the best mood, or something
Yeah.
doesn't go your way, or
Absolutely.
something happens. You roll with it. I mean, it's life, so I think, but it's important to take care of yourself, and find the areas that you can just kind of let loose and have a good time. So um I think that's it. But yeah, my family's definitely a big part of that for me. They definitely
Well,
keep.
that's very good. Very good to have that support system, obviously,
Oh,
with your family. Um, I love the fact of what you just said, because you are going to have days that's long days. You're going to have some bad days in this industry. Everybody does.
sure,
Uh,
yeah,
but the great thing about it is to be able to overcome that and really think about just the positive, because the positive are going to outweigh the bad all the
sure.
time in this industry. Which is also another great segue, which is advice. What is some advice that you would give somebody,
Mhm.
maybe a postgraduate, maybe somebody that's just getting out of school, maybe an intern? What is advice that you would give someone that wants to, do what you do, cover a team or do sports journalism?
Yeah, I think keep your head up and know that you belong there as much as anybody else. And it'll things will fall for you if you keep working and keep grinding. There's it's such a field sometimes where it's so competitive, and people can be so kind of territorial over, you know, I'm
Sure.
covering this, or I'm doing that,
Mhm.
or I'm working for X publication, so I'm the best. Like, and that's not how it is. It's, we all get to cover, the greatest sport on earth. And then there's a place for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. It really doesn't matter. If you love what you're doing, and you work hard at it, you belong, there as much as anybody else. So keep your head up and keep pushing. Don't give up, and don't let someone saying no stop you from pursuing thing that you're passionate about. Like I've I've heard no so many times. Like through college I got rejection after rejection after rejection. And there were
Right.
moments, I my advisor told me, pick a different sport because it doesn't seem like the hockey thing's going to work. And I didn't listen because I was like, no, like I'm passionate about this. I belong in this field, and I'm not going to let somebody tell me, that I don't, if I work hard at it. So I think just
Mhm.
work hard, keep your head up, and be kind. You never know who you're sitting next to. You never know who's watching you. And I mean, even so, I mean, it doesn't matter if anybody's watching you or not. You should always be nice to the person next to you. I mean, that's how I was raised, but
Oh
it's
yes,
it's
absolutely.
important to spread kindness and positivity and keep your head up. I mean, those are the kind of people that get far. The nice guys. It's the nice people, that the players. It's funny because like you get to know people in the industry, and players, know who you are, and that's a little crazy in itself, especially as somebody who grew up watching the Caps like that. They now know like who I am, as a person, and
Right.
um,
Right.
that they know you as a person, and it's like how do you want to be seen? Do you want to be seen as a good person, or you want to be seen as not a good person? And I want to be seen as a good person, so it's important to do that, and you know just follow your heart. That's my biggest advice is follow your heart.
Great advice.
Yeah.
It's a question that's worth asking, because a
Hmm.
lot of people sometimes, Sammy, come into this industry and
Hmm.
have a misconception of what it is. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is they see you with the credential, they see you out there covering the Washington Capitals and doing something that you love to do, and they think that you have it made, number one.
Hmm.
And they don't know that you do all the other things that you do. They don't know the behind the scenes work that you're doing to prepare yourself or
Hmm.
to get that article out or to do what you need or get them quotes or do whatever you need to do. And
Hmm.
this is why I provided this platform, because I want people to understand that it's a beautiful industry to be in, but you really can't have one foot in, one foot out. You got to be
Yeah.
decisive on whether or not you want to do this. And who better than to tell it than the people that's in it, that's experiencing it, right? Because you got to engulf everything that comes along with it in order to make a decisive decision on whether or not you want to do this.
Yeah.
So I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what games do you play? Because I'm a gamer myself.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have the Game Pass on Xbox, so I'll go through, and see what's, in there. It's dumb. I really like, the simulator games, like, Lawnmower Simulator and all that stuff. I'm a big Cyberpunk fan, so I've played through Cyberpunk probably like 11 times. So I'm a big Cyberpunk person. Fallout, love the Fallout series, so play that a lot.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, just a ton of stuff. I'll play anything. Saints Row is always fun to pick up the controller and play. Your classic games. When I'm with my sister and my family, we play. Like Quiplash, Mario Party. That kind of stuff. So
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
just some of the classics, and then some of the RPGs and sim games, that kind of stuff. So all over the board for me. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm definitely into the Mario Party. No question
yeah.
about that. No question. Definitely huge into MLB the show, NHL,
Oh yeah.
NBA 2K,
Well,
Madden,
yeah.
all the
NHL goes without saying. I play a lot of NHL, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely into the sports games, but
Yeah.
also Marvel versus Capcom, the fighting games, Mortal
Mhm.
Kombat. I like to play too. Um, and I also like to play Call of Duty. That's my game right
Good
there.
one.
So definitely like to play some Call of Duty. So I said, okay, we got some similar tastes. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, Sammy, we have reached the portion of the podcast now that we're going to do my interactive game called This or That. So what that
Okay.
means is I'm gonna throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. It's a game I like to play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. So for the second time, I'm gonna ask you, are you ready?
I hope so.
All right, here we go. Do you like chicken?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to these two places, which place are you going to eat chicken at, or would you rather eat chicken at? So I should say,
Okay.
Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Okay, I'm
Popeyes.
with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you right now. Okay, here we go. When it
Yeah.
comes to chicken wings, which flavor would you rather have on a wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Oh, gosh. Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like
Yeah.
your wings wet or dry?
What?
Okay. Do you like
Yeah.
your wings bone in or boneless?
Bone in. I don't. I
Okay.
don't understand boneless wings. It's not a
Okay.
wing.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that so many times. I
Yeah.
love that. So you like to get a little messy, is what you're saying.
I think so.
Okay. Okay, Sammy. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. These next 5 questions
Okay.
have to do with music concerts you rather attend.
Okay.
Okay. So, which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather go see Breaking Benjamin, or would you rather go see Avenged Sevenfold?
Breaking Benjamin for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of my favorite groups. So I like that.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. They're good.
Okay. Which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather see Blink 182 or Limp Bizkit?
Blink 182. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna switch it up here a little bit. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather see Chris Brown or Usher?
Usher.
Oh, you was very
My
decisive on that one.
yeah. My sister and I like Usher. So.
Okay, I got you. Which music concert would you rather go see? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Um. Oh,
Uh,
Kendrick.
this one was pretty
Kendrick.
okay. Oh, you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll stick with Kendrick. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. K Dot. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Which music concert would you rather go see? This is a nostalgic one. Would you rather see Aerosmith or Journey?
Ooh. Aerosmith. Aerosmith has so many. I mean, Journey's got good songs, but Aerosmith has bops. They got good songs. But also,
They
yeah,
do.
I would just love to experience that. So yeah, Aerosmith for sure.
Okay. I'm with you on that. You got some great music taste. I
I
love it.
try. Yeah.
I really do. No, you good. You good. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or baseball?
Baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Uh, Badminton. It just
Wow.
you get more done. Bowling. You go once and then yeah, you get like more movement. I feel like in badminton, I feel like you're moving more. Like bowling, use it's like one thing, and then you're watching for half of it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Are you a good bowler?
no,
Well, that's probably why.
yeah,
That's totally.
I'm a terrible bowler. I'm a terrible bowler. Yeah,
I understand. That's totally. I totally understand that. And badminton, I love badminton. By the way, I love the birdie, but I don't like tennis. I don't like tennis. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm a huge badminton person. I do like badminton. Do you like desserts?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna name 4 categories of desserts. You have to
Okay.
choose one of these that you'll never eat again. Okay, so here we go, Sammy.
Okay.
First one is ice cream. The second one is cookies. The third one is cakes slash pies. The last one is candy. Which one are you getting rid of?
I'll get rid of cookies. I'm not big
Mm,
cookie person. Yeah, like
okay.
I just had ice cream before I got on this call. So I love ice cream. I love cake. Like my mom and I love cake. And then yeah, candy. I mean, yeah, Milky Ways are great, and yeah, I mean, there's so many good candies. Sour Patch Kids, Kit
Yeah.
Kats. Yeah,
Fun
yeah, like
fact,
yeah.
um, fun fact here, I've never had a Milky Way.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I never had a Milky. I've normally when I do eat chocolate, it's Kit Kat, it's Reese's, Butterfingers, Musketeers,
Mhm,
it's Hershey's Cookies and Cream,
mhm.
the crispy M&Ms. I like those. Yeah, I just never had a Milky Way.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to ask you, what's your favorite ice cream?
That's easy. Haagen-Dazs, coffee chip. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, so it's coffee and that has, the chocolate chips in it.
okay. Mine would
Yeah,
be cookies and cream. That's the Briars, so
good more.
the little blue box.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a
Absolutely.
good one too.
Okay. Do you like potato chips?
Yeah, I love chips.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So same format. You have to get rid of one of these four brands that I'm about to mention. Okay, so
Okay.
here we go. First one is Lay's. The second one is Pringles. The third one is Doritos. The last one is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
I hate to say Ruffles, but I'll say Ruffles.
Oh Lord.
I
Oh
don't
no.
I don't know. I never
Oh,
see them anywhere. Like that's my thing. Like I yeah, like I never that's my beef is like I never see them. So it's like, all right, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. Like
Sammy, we were vibing. We were vibing so good up
I
until that
don't
point.
know.
We
I just
agreed on
I never
everything.
yeah, I don't know. I never see them. I like Ruffles. I used
Yeah.
to love Ruffles when I was younger, but like I never see them anywhere here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me ask you: are you a salt and vinegar person?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep, that explains it. That
Yeah.
explains a lot. I
Yeah.
got you. Now those chips are the second worst chip ever made.
Honestly, I mean, I can see where you're coming from there. Like it's an acquired taste. Like I grew up not liking salt and vinegar, and I think a couple of years ago I hopped on the train. So it's definitely
An acquired taste. I feel
I
you.
think
Now
so.
listen,
Yeah.
they're second because the first chip, the worst chip ever made in life is Funyuns. Whoever made Funyuns,
Well, I like
God
fun.
bless them. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't I
Okay.
don't I
Well,
don't like I don't pick them out like
yeah.
first. But like if they're there, like I'll have a Funyun. Yeah.
Well, see, well, that's okay. Listen, we can eat everything together but chips. That's all that's proven. So that's
There
okay.
we go. Yeah.
That's all right.
There we go. It's a
You
plan.
did very well though on this or that. You did very well with
Thank
the
you.
difference of this or that.
I try.
Now, no, you were great, Sammy. You really was. Now, I want to know if it wasn't sports journalism, because I did see that you got a master's degree in script writing, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Um, if it wasn't journalism, what career path would you have chosen to go down and why?
Yeah, I probably would have gone into film probably. I grew up loving, or TV, TV or film, writing. You know,
Mhm.
I learned how to write screenplays in high school and loved it. And there's a few, plays and television scripts and movie scripts that I've read and loved, and just being able to tell a story, So something with writing. I mean, if I wasn't able to do anything with writing, I'd probably want to I don't know. Like I love my family, but like my sister's job looks boring. So I wouldn't want to do what she does.
Right.
Um yeah, maybe like be like an Apple genius. Yeah, maybe that. I was going to do
Okay.
that in college. And then I got another job, so
Okay.
probably that.
Okay.
I like helping people with technology, so I'd probably do that.
Now, I certainly wouldn't mind your help at all. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I would definitely say for me it's theater. I'm a huge theater buff.
Yeah.
I love musicals. So I'm somebody who definitely, excuse me, wouldn't mind being on stage. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing. I have two top four questions. This first top four question
Mhm.
has to do with a top four bucket list of events
Okay.
that you would like to do throughout your career.
So 4 things I would like to do throughout my career.
Yeah, and like I'll give you a prime example with myself. Like
Mhm.
one, in no particular order, I would like to cover the Olympics that's coming here in 28. I would love to do an NBA Finals, for sure. I'm a huge basketball person. I would love
Yeah.
to do a national championship game, basketball or football, it doesn't matter. And I
Mhm.
would definitely love to do a Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely amazing to do, knowing that my Blackhawks really stink. I don't know if they're going to get there anytime soon, but it would be great just to do the experience for sure.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's hard. I've been lucky enough to do a lot of things that I've wanted to do. Like my first year ever covering the Caps, I got to go to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, I've always wanted to cover the NHL awards, and I got to do that this summer. Sit
Well,
down
maybe
with
there's some
Alex.
other sports. Is there some other sports that you like?
Yeah, but like not that I would want to do like career. What I get.
Hmm, hmm.
I would. I mean, if we're talking like things I haven't done, I would love to cover Winter Olympics. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'd really want to do like a sports documentary. I'd love to do that. Um,
Okay.
I'd love to cover like an all-star game. I think covering an all-star game would be really cool.
That
Um,
would be amazing, especially
yeah.
next year.
And then I guess like meeting LeBron James if we had to go outside hockey. He just seems like a cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that
like I'd want to meet LeBron James. He seems cool. I'll go with that. Yeah, I would want to meet LeBron James.
I would love to do the All-Star game. I believe the NHL All-Star game next year is in Elmont, New York, which is the
Yeah,
home of the New York Islanders
yeah.
next year. That would be amazing to do that for sure. I want to definitely cross all the All-Star games off my list for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's a good bucket list. Now I would like to ask you a top four question of what is your bucket list of athletes that you would like to interview? Give me a top
Um,
three.
top 4 athletes I'd like to interview.
Mhm.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean Alex Ovechkin was always at the top of my list, but I've spoken to him and he's a great individual. I think hmm,
Hmm. Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby.
I've interviewed Cindy Crosby. I'm trying to think of who I haven't
Oh
met yet.
wow.
I've been very fortunate in my field. Like Jose Theodore, I
Okay.
always wanted to interview him, and I got to interview him this past
Y-
year.
Yeah. What
Um,
about Jack Eichel?
I've spoken to Jack Eichel. I
Okay.
think it. Do I have to be alive?
I mean, they don't have to be, but I would think that you would want to do this in your career. Be very tough to talk to the dead. That's for sure.
I mean, if we're talking to like Gordie Howe, I would have loved to interview Gordie Howe while he was
Sure.
still alive, but
Absolutely.
unfortunately he passed away. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, I would love to talk to Wayne Gretzky.
Hmm.
Um,
What about Mario Lemieux, Pittsburgh
yeah,
legend?
oh yeah, Super Mario, of course, yeah, Mario Lemieux.
That's right, Super Mario.
Jaromir Jagr, would love to talk to Jaromir Jagr. He's one player I didn't get to interview.
Now, he played for like 7 to 900 teams. That's for sure.
Yeah. Um, Marty Brodeur, the goaltender. I
The
would
gold. Yeah.
would
Yeah.
have loved to talk to him. So quite a few. Yeah.
No, no doubt. I think for me, just in a hockey sense, I wouldn't mind talking to Gretzky. Obviously, listening to him, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You can add Super Mario to that because he was one of my favorite players. Mike McDonald, I wouldn't mind talking to him either.
He was a cool
Dallas
dude.
Star great. He definitely is somebody who I wouldn't mind talking to either. And I personally would love to talk to Superman himself, Patrick Kane. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Being a Blackhawk great, and then obviously he got, he played for the Rangers as well a little bit, but yeah, him and Tolles, Jonathan Tolles, I wouldn't mind talking to either one of them or both. That would be great.
Oh yeah.
I want to ask you about advice. Now, you talked about advice, giving advice to others that's coming into this field, but I
Hmm.
want to know what's some advice that someone has gave you, Sammy, that you hold on dearly to.
Oh man, I've been really lucky to meet quite a few really good mentors. Um, I mean, yeah, I've been told, to never, not give up, head held high. Um, Ben Raby, who was he was on Caps Radio for a long time, and he's somebody I
Okay.
look up to quite a lot.
Okay.
Um, he once told me, he was like, because I used to, look at the people, my colleagues around me, especially when I was younger, because I started in the press box when I was like 20, so I was really young. And some of the people I was working alongside, I grew up reading them.
Mm-hmm.
And he, kind of like told me one time, he's like, you don't need to be like, starstruck or tiptoeing around anybody. Like you belong here. Like, you're on the same level with all of us. So embrace that. And I really did. And it was such a cool way of telling me to have some more confidence, in myself, as a writer, but also as a person, as a personality, and as a professional. So I think that piece of advice is one I've really carried with me for a long time.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's something that took me a while to shake when I
Yeah.
first got into this industry. Well, two things did. That was one of them, though. That was big time because one year I was working at a like full time job working lottery, and now the next year I'm sitting here with people who I read in the newspaper and I saw on TV. It's like this is insane. Like this is
Yeah.
crazy. Like I was a little kind of taken back, like starstruck because it's like I've been reading your articles and I've been reading about you. I've been listening to you. And
Mhm.
and I got the same kind of advice. They say you got to snap out of it because you got a job to do. And I understand. But it's, to me, it was like, man, it was like a wow moment. You know what I mean? As you
Yeah.
know. Um, I think the second thing for me, Sammy, was when I was covering high school football. I remember playing high school football and I remember playing sports in high school. And
Mhm.
the team that I was covering scored 0. The team that they played against scored 66.
Mhm.
So it was a 66-0 game. And I remember having a really difficult time writing that article
Mhm.
because not with just the quotes and the things that happened, but they really didn't gain much yards. It really wasn't a competitive game.
Mhm.
And when you write for publications and stuff like that, most of the people that pick up the paper are
Mhm.
parents and family members. And the last thing you want to do is, you don't want to piss them off, but
Mhm.
you also want to tell them the truth.
Right.
And that was just a difficult thing for me to do, to talk about a team that just literally got their tails whipped 66 nothing. And they're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids.
Mhm.
But my editor was like, I know what you're feeling. I understand that. But you got to tell the truth. And if you got to take it, you just got to
Mhm.
take it. And it was tough for me to really do that when I first started out because I was just trying to write articles that was kind of cookie cutter. But then I had to
Right.
realize that I had to kind of snap out of that and realize I had a job to do. And it's not my
Right.
fault they scored 0.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. No,
which
for
I
sure.
mean, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Those two difficult things for me was very tough to do at first.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Washington Capitals a little bit here. I think it's about 25 games left. I may be off with that a little bit, but it's 20 plus games for sure. The season's coming to an end soon. If I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
they are the number one team or the number two team in all of the Eastern Conference. Um, Talk to me about. their chances of possibly making a very long, deep run in this postseason. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Florida Panthers are the defending champions
Mhm.
in the NHL. They're also pretty good up there as well. We've seen Washington as the number one seed before, but we've seen them crack as a number one seed before as well. So tell me
Mhm.
about their possibility of making a deep run, and what are you looking for as a beat reporter in these last 20 plus games of the season?
Yeah, I think sometimes when you look at standings, especially, after, a break, it can be kind of, sometimes to jump ahead and be like, oh, this team is in good position. They're going to make a deep run. Hockey's so unpredictable. And, the Caps play before the break, fluctuated a little bit. It was going up and
Mm-hmm.
down where there were a
It
lot of
was.
games where, they dug themselves a nice hole and had to kind of, come back in a few games. And even if they came back, it wasn't always a win, because you'd fall in overtime or, a late one went in or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, consistency will be key over the final, games of the stretch. I think you know, the pressure is going to build up, especially, with them having such high expectations this season, given what they've done, so far and, all eyes on Ovi and all that stuff. There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of need for consistency and finding some stability and gearing up for the playoffs. But I think if they can figure things out and kind of find their balance and their groove, they'll be able to really go far. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it holds and what they're going to be able to do come April, May, or even June. But I'm a very wait and see kind of person. Believe it when you see it kind of thing. So yeah.
Well, I can understand that. I can respect that. Respect that perspective. I don't really like to jump the gun too much either. But it's definitely a question that's worth asking because it's a rarity in hockey, especially in NHL, that you see back to back champions.
Hmm.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay was the last one to do it. But and I might be off with that, but um even when the Blackhawks had their run and the Kings were having their run and Pittsburgh was having their run in the 2010s when they was winning, I don't think there was a back-to-back champion. And once again, I may be off with that, but I don't think it was.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a rarity that it happens. Why do you think it's a rarity? Because most other sports typically do have back-to-back champions more often than the NHL. Why do you think that happens, in your
Because
opinion?
I think I think it's so hard to win. The Stanley Cup is so hard to win.
Hmm.
You need to have so many different pieces going right. And hockey is such a game of chance and a game where, technique and strategy take you places, but there's also things like puck luck and, injuries and consistency. And you're playing 82 games and then you need to win 16 more if you want to win the cup. And it can be anybody's night. Honestly, it all depends on how you're feeling when you get on the ice, or if you have one really crappy period of hockey that can change the whole thing. And not that you won't see that in other sports, but in
Right.
hockey, there's so many different circumstances. The ice, the gear, the mentality, how teams, you're doing things on the fly, there's shift changes and quick, plays, and two coaches reading off one another. So they're deciding who to throw over the boards, and how to attack their level of play and how to match up against it. And there's so many different elements that go into hockey. And it's just such a fast moving, nonstop game that you're gonna have more rarities and more crazy events that happen than something like football where you one team has possession offensively guaranteed for, at least like 4 attempts. Of course, you can intercept it, but
Right.
who has the ball, that kind of thing. Anybody can have the puck at any given time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So hockey, it's just the spontaneity of the sport. I think is why we see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And again, I asked because, in college football, you see some of the same teams in the playoffs, or you see some of the same teams battling out for the championship all the time. The Power Fives, that you see that. In the
Mhm.
NFL, you see some of the same teams in the playoffs that's battling each other for the chip, right? We just had the Chiefs that almost tried to three-peat. They went back to back, right?
Mhm.
And when you see in basketball, the Heat, when they went back to back in 2012, 2013, the Warriors, they went back to back 17 and 18. The Celtics are trying to do that now in the NBA, but it's more of a rarity that those occurrences are happening in those sports. Now, MLB, I didn't put in the mix because MLB plays 80 more games than the
Mhm.
NHL. They play 162, so that's quite a bit of games. That's just too many games, in my opinion. But that's another story for another day. I just think that the NHL, it is hard to win, but it's also a question worth asking why we don't have more repeat winners
Yeah.
to that. Um,
Yeah.
but so I do love your stance. Not gonna lie, I'm my favorite in the NHL to win this particular year. Last year I had the Rangers. Thought the
Mhm.
Rangers were going to definitely win. I just liked the way that they were cruising along this time.
Mhm.
At this time last year. To me, I think the Caps will be my favorite this year. Just like the way that they've been starting now. Obviously, lately they've been all
Mhm.
up and down, but it's 82 game season. What team is not going to be up and down at some point? You're not going to be on all 82 games. That's just no team in. So, but I do think the Caps can make a serious run for the title this year, just like they did 6 years ago, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, won it in 2019. Um, with that being said, though, we are coming to the end of the podcast episode. So what I want to do is I
Mhm.
want to ask you some rapid fire questions. Now, you just shout out with glee the first thing that comes to your mind based upon these rapid fire questions. So for the
Oh,
last time, Sammy, I'm going to ask you, are you ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Burgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Chicken or ribs?
Ooh, ribs.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
What is Sammy's favorite color?
Uh, blue. Blue.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right. What is Sammy's favorite Netflix TV show or TV show on TV?
yeah. Ooh, I'm on a Dance Moms kick right now, which is so embarrassing. But God, yeah, yeah,
Dance
that,
Mom.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
dance.
about that. I know about that. Okay. Favorite alcoholic drink?
I don't drink.
Favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew all the way.
Now hold on. There's several different Mountain Dews. Are we talking about Baja Blast? We talking about regular? We talking about
I just like the classic diet Mountain Dew. It's My mom
mm,
will be happy to hear that I said diet, so diet Mountain Dew.
got you. Shout out to Sammy's mom too.
If
She must be a
Patty's watching
wonderful
this,
woman.
yeah,
This
she
must be
is.
a wonderful woman. So that's amazing. Favorite sandwich?
Ooh, uh, mm, not a big sandwich person. BLT, I guess. But I don't
Okay.
like lettuce, so just BT.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we call it the BT sandwich. That's
yeah.
cool. All right. If you had a choice to pick three artists or three songs that you would never get tired of listening of on repeat, what would those three artists or three songs be?
Florence and the Machine, Green Day, and ooh, never got tired of. Fleetwood Mac.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you took it back with that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
my mom. Shout out to her again. We listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac, but a lot of 70s and 80s,
All
and
right.
yeah,
I
has a
like it.
special place in my heart. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Stevie Nicks in the group, without question.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, no question about that. And Green Day. Green Day is definitely
Yeah.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams is still one of my favorite albums. No
Oh
question.
yeah. Yeah.
No question. Got you. Okay. If you had a choice to choose three people to take with you on vacation plus you, which would be a total of four, who would those three people be and where would you go? Now, before you answer, Sammy, you can choose family, friends, or celebrities.
Ooh. Um. My mom, obviously. Can I take my dog?
I mean, yeah, you can take whoever you want.
Yeah, I'm looking at her right now. My dog. If I can take on vacation. Probably my buddy Ryan.
Okay. And
I don't know if
where
Ryan's
would you go?
watching this, but I love Ryan, so I'd probably take him. And I think that's three. And then what? I have one more.
Well, technically, yes, because your dog is the animal, it's not a person.
Oh, okay. All right. Robert Pattinson, because he's good looking. And then yeah, Taylor Lautner. And let's just do two Twilight people. Yeah, let's just throw that. Yeah.
Well, hold on now, Sammy. We got four. You said Mom, Ryan, and Taylor and Robert.
Yeah. Four.
No, you got a total of four. You got to bring three more with you.
Oh, all right.
So you got to
All
drop
right.
you got to drop Robert or Taylor.
Oh God. God, it's like sixth grade all over again. I can see Robert on the next trip. Or Ryan, like he doesn't have to come.
Bye bye, Ryan.
Like, I don't know. I see Ryan every week. Like if I
That's
can
true.
only see them one time, I'll see that. Yeah.
Listen, I understand your reason. I'm just saying it's bye bye Ryan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
Ryan, yeah. No, we can yeah. God,
I
I hope
totally
Sharon
understand
wants this. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. Favorite board game.
Ooh. Mm, favorite board game. I don't know. They always end in like a argument. Clue. My sister and I play Clue a lot,
Mm,
and she
okay.
always,
Okay.
she always made me be like Colonel Mustard. So
Okay.
yeah,
Favorite card game.
favorite card, a gin.
Okay.
Gin.
Okay.
My mom and I love a good game of
Um, spades or dominoes.
dominoes. They're more fun.
Okay.
They're more fun.
Okay. Last two of the rapid fire.
All right.
If they came to you, Sammy, and they said you only can do one of these jobs for the rest of your career, that would be a reporter or be a film writer. Which one would you do?
Uh, reporter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I love hockey is my life. Yeah, I can't live without it. So, yeah.
Okay. For a charity cause. All right. Say if you had to throw a ball to dunk one of these people for charity and it's a good cause. You're raising money.
Okay.
Which person are you putting in the chair? Your mother or your sister?
Oh my God, to make the basket?
To dunk them in the water. You're throwing the ball to hit the thing so you could dunk them for charity.
Oh my God. Oh, I thought you were talking about basketball for a minute. Dunk. My sister. My sister, she's a pain in the butt. My mom's great. I would never dunk my mother. Yeah, no. God, no. And my mom hates, yeah, she like hates getting wet. Like, yeah. I'm sure my sister hates getting wet too, but no, my sister bullied me growing up. Yeah, my sister. Yeah, I spoke to her right there. Like,
I didn't mean to like open old wounds. I'm sorry.
no, she knows. She'll check this out and she'll agree with me. Yeah, no, I would
That's
dunk her.
awesome.
Yeah, she
That
like
is
just got married
awesome.
a few months ago, and the stuff I had to do for her wedding, she can get
Mm.
dunked. It's yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Sammy sister. Whenever you do watch this and it's posted, congratulations to you getting married. Um, you have been an absolute amazing guest on here on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. Hearing
Yeah.
your beginnings of growing up in the Maryland area, being close,
Mm,
going to the University of Maryland, obviously finding your passion with writing, getting a master's, pursuing a second master's, but also graduating to be able to cover the Washington Capitals pretty much in your hometown area.
yeah.
The last two questions that I wanted to ask you, one is how much of a privilege and how much of a pleasure it is to work in your hometown area for the team that you grew up watching. I mean, you
Mhm.
rarely get to see that out of college.
Yeah, I growing up, I was a huge Caps fan. I think after I went to my first hockey game, I was such a fan of the Caps, and it was like 2009, 2010, so it was like prime, OV, Nick
Mm-hmm.
Backstrom, the young guns. And I remember my mom, took us to like a season ticket holder party. She got tickets from like her boss, and I really wanted to like meet, OV or Backstrom, and I didn't get to. And I was like, I'm never gonna get to meet them, like ever. Like they're no, I'm never gonna get to introduce myself to either of them.
Right.
Now, like I know, you know, I'm familiar with both of them. Which is they're great people. They're fantastic people, and it's such a whirlwind to get to meet your heroes, and then to see your heroes are good people, and then to obviously know them. Like I'm not you know kicking back brewskis with them, but I'm talking to them, and get to know them, a little bit, and
Sure.
see who they are as people, and they get to see who you are as a person. It's just such a full circle moment that really means a lot to you, and it's incredibly humbling. It's incredibly inspiring. It's like if younger Sammy knew what I was doing now, she'd probably lose it. Because the road here it's been rough. It's been there's been ups and downs. Growing up wasn't necessarily easy either. Thank God I had my mom, and my sister, as much of a pain as she is, to guide me through those tough times, and to land here is just so special. And that's why you never take a day for granted, ever. Even if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or you're having a bad morning, or you botch a question, or maybe you were supposed to get a player, you didn't get to get them. Like the sun's gonna come up the next day. You're gonna get another chance. Nobody's perfect. There's never a bad day. Never.
Right.
So it's awesome.
No, I can just imagine. Obviously, hearing it in your voice, the passion you have for the Caps,
Yeah.
your team, your city. Like I said, I would definitely be back in DC at some point again. I would definitely have to say hello to you when I'm in
Yeah.
your town. You may have to show me around a little bit because, like
Yeah.
I said, I've only been there a couple times. So,
Oh, sure.
no question. I want to ask this final question, and that is there anything else, Sammy, that you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
Um, just that I'm thankful to be where I am, and just it's such an awesome ride. And a huge shout out to my editors, to my family, my friends, my colleagues, my mentors in the business who didn't turn their backs on me or give up on me or anything like that. Shout out to the Caps, the PR staff there. They do an amazing job. And they make a very hard job look very, very easy. And the players and the coaching staff and the equipment staff, they're great people through and through. So huge credit to them for what they do every day, and being first class people. So life is good. You gotta enjoy it.
Absolutely.
It's too short
Absolutely.
not to. So
No doubt. Well said by you, Sammy. I want you to enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening and also enjoy your weekend. You and I will definitely be in touch.
Oh
Once
yeah.
again, thank you for coming on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much.